Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I was running my Curse of Strahd game with my in-person group, although we're still virtual. And I did this awesome, I ran this NPC awesome, like the role-playing and everything. And of course, that's the session that I forgot to record. Didn't realize until after we finished. And I went to hit the record button to stop recording. I'm like, wait a minute. No!
It's lost to your memories.
Worst. Yes.
Yeah.
It's always the worst.
Yeah. But welcome everybody to session 32 of Descent into Fernia. So just really quickly, Brendan, Kurt, what are the last things that you guys remember?
Oh.
Yeah, so I remember we started up the vehicle, and we managed to like drill through the ground until we came out somewhere. So it appeared as though we were like on the ground again. But I'm a little hazy after that.
Yeah, I remember the episode with the buggy or whatever it was, like the mining vehicle, and that was it. I didn't get to ride in it.
Oh yeah, he was there just as we found the Umber Hulks having sex.
Oh, yeah.
Were you there for the venom parasite attaching itself to Ewan's arm?
Yeah, Ewan is without an arm.
Yeah. I saw that in last episode. I'm like, did the wasps do that? Like, I'm so far back.
The wasp larvae, apparently.
Okay, fair enough.
Fucker bit off my arm. It had to be cut off, apparently.
To save him from getting venom powers.
Right.
It would have been so cool.
2 sessions ago, we did it was like a dream session, and it was cruel to Ewan because he started the dream with his arm, and then he lost it again.
With the arms, no levels of exhaustion, I was totally good again.
God damn it. So Mike's still a monster, you know. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, some things don't change.
I mean, I suppose he has dialed back a slight bit. Only a slight bit on the body horror.
Right.
He took it all out. He took it out on Sheev for a minute. And then I lost an arm, so. And then Sheev was a tentacle creature. And
in the dream.
That. Yeah. The less rapey tentacle creature. That's what I remember hearing.
So you guys have made it to the Fort Knucklebone, which is a fortification around what looks to be a natural land formation that kind of looks like a fist popping out of the ground. And within that fortification, you were allowed in, and while in there, the place is largely populated by redcaps, as well as a few others that are referred to as madcaps. When you first got into the place, you met a couple of dwarves that were getting bullied by the redcaps, and one of them, and part of the bullying include getting cut up with swords, but the wounds healed instantly on the dwarves with every cut until one of the dwarves snapped and pounded one of the redcaps, who then took out a different silvered weapon, cut them, and then that cut remained. The dwarves were engineers, and they said that they mentioned having long ago been placed into service with a creature they called Mad Maggie, who basically they were around during the crusade, the Silver Crusade on Corvair in Thrain, and caught a bit of lycanthropy. And then one of them was pregnant, and so they were like, what do we do? And then they were offered by Mad Maggie to have the curse removed, just requiring, and she produced this silver mask that removed the curse. Only the curse wasn't quite removed. So they still have lycanthropy, but their daughter, who they had been born in the interim of all this, she basically threatened that the child would be cursed, and the only way to save the child would be to come into her service and follow her into Fernia. And so they've done it, and so they're also still cursed with lycanthropy to some degree, but it's under control as long as they remain in the general vicinity of Mad Maggie. But Vegnog happened to know their daughter, who is apparently a very wealthy and cutthroat businesswoman herself, one of Vegnog's competitors. And based on hearing that news and having a glimmer of hope that their sacrifice wasn't completely in vain, they offered to help the group, specifically help Ewan with developing a prosthetic. So they need a couple of days in order to complete the prosthetic, and they need to be careful because they need to do it without Mad Maggie coming to find them, because they're not supposed to work on their own projects. And their primary purpose there is to keep her fleet of infernal war machines working. So after that, you guys were introduced to Mad Maggie, and you've come to understand that she's kind of the local warlord of the area. She is accompanied by two ravens that are on either shoulder of hers, as well as a creation known as Mickey, who was given to her by her ex-lover, Mordain the Fleshweaver, which is basically an amalgamation of many of her enemies who were mortals in Corvair at the time. And so they're all in eternal suffering, melded together and forced to operate under her command. She took interest in a few things from the group, the first being the symbol of Crozen's mark, which is upon some of your foreheads, Lux, Solomon, Ewan, and Alyssa. And so she is wanting to study the marks and has offered some supplies in exchange for being able to study it, which Ewan has volunteered to do. She also demonstrates interest in the shield, which we haven't really been able to expand on since Alyssa has not been here. And then additionally, she provided you guys with a bit of information because she seemed to have some awareness that your presence is related to this cathedral that popped up not too far from the fort where you guys are. And according to her, the cathedral just kind of blinked into existence, and it is surrounded by a wall of black flame with dark clouds swirling in a vortex above, with a steady barrage of green lightning hitting the grounds of the cathedral. And she's offered to give you information about that, but because she says that she has the gift of prophecy and she can read the strings of fate, but in order to perform that magic, she will need something from you. And she says that with this kind of magic, it requires stories, because stories beget stories, were her words. So she is given the group lodgings and is willing to let you guys rest for a time, knowing that you guys are quite weary from your travels, and also seeing the fresh wounds of Ewan's stump. But while you guys were in your room, Vegnog noticed that there was somebody peeping through a hole in the wall and immediately followed that up with a dagger into the hole, which resulted in some screams. And then following that, you guys had a dream. And in the dream, the walls kind of crushed in, and there was a figure that was saying, "Come follow me." But the figure was like indicating through a door that was far too small to fit anybody. But as you guys tried it, your figures shrink, and then you were then in this room, which you guys took way too long trying to communicate and move a stone that lit up. That was just a stone that lit up.
You were like,
tried once to
okay,
lift
like let's try to lift it. I lick the stone. How does it taste? Is it salty? You know, it's just like anything you can think of, like what this stone could be.
I think Lux was also trying to mentally communicate with it or move it, at some point. And then finally, I think you guys were able to move it maybe, but when you finally tried the door, it turned out to be a mimic. And then once you dealt with the mimic, you were in a cave, and there was a lake in the cave with... What are you doing? Tad Cooper, get out of the garbage. Sorry. So in the lake were these tentacles sprouted up, and they were speaking with Dr. Sheeb's voice, and trying to pull them into the lake. And then once they were pulled into the lake, you guys were then in a field where Lacis actually emerged. And Lacis seemed to be pretty beat up, and she revealed that Ewan and Lux were actually asleep. And it turned out Vegnog wasn't actually there. It was just a dream, a figment of Lux and Ewan's, because Warforged don't sleep. So, but Lacis revealed that she figured out the reason that she kept disappearing, which you guys were like, wait, you were disappearing?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And it has something to do with the fact that she's a Kalishtar, but she's also kind of a mutant. And because of this unique ability that she has, the creatures of Delcor, which she described as living nightmares, have been hunting her because they want to use her as a means of returning to Eberron and overrunning the land, as they tried to do in the past. And she described an artifact which she provided a mental image of a silver crown that glitters in a way that seems like it's alive, and it seems like even though it's solid, it looks kind of ephemeral. Like the slightest touch could make it just poof. But she also says that it can be found on Fernia, because technically it exists simultaneously on all planes, but it also moves around. And with that artifact, it would be you guys would be able to help bring Lassice back from the land of dreams. And she provided a ritual that would help you find it. And the ritual, which Lux and Ewan, I think Lux specifically wrote it down just after the dream was completed. So she knows the basic tenets of the ritual, but it also requires something called a fiend coin and the blood of an angel that has lost its heart. And in that, Lux tried to pull one of Lassice's hairs off of her head to try and bring it back into the real world, which did not work. So with that, she could sense that the creatures that were hunting her were getting close. And so she bolted. And then the dream suddenly changed. Ewan and Lux they encountered this giant creature with multiple eyes, and asking where the girl was. And when Ewan and Lux obviously told it to go fuck itself, it then did something where it released an aura of terror and invaded Lux and Ewan's mind, which made them, it felt like for Lux and Ewan 10 years had passed. And it basically, but even though it only took moments, and it basically absorbed all of their knowledge and memories, which then they woke up. And then after waking up, the group was assaulted by a flying skull by the name of Barnabas, asking for soul coins, so thirsty for soul coins. And then, but then also had a message from somebody. It wasn't really clear about who, but asked you guys to come to the garage. And I think the group expected it was the two dwarves, and with something regarding Ewan's prosthetic. They got to the garage, and no, it's a bunch of red caps and a mad cap, one of them missing an eye. And there was a fight. The group defeated the red caps, demanded Barnabas return them to their room because the fortress is kind of a maze, and wanted soul coins in return. The group led him on, thinking he would get soul coins if he brought them back. And then once you guys actually got back, Barnabas annoyed you enough that you locked him in one of the chests in the room.
Yeah, we caught that motherfucker.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much covers the last 4-5 sessions. Does anybody have anything to add? Is there anything I missed or any questions?
Soul coin, he was supposed to. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do not like this silver mask that merely suppresses and does not actually cure lycanthropy.
Soul coin he was supposed to get, I stole, so.
Yeah.
Because I snatched it out of the air, so we have that.
We do have one.
That's right. I think you found one on one of the red caps, right? Right. The red cap tossed it up to Barnabas, who tried to catch it, and Lux was like, "Aw, shit.
Not so fast.
I got them hops." And jumped in the air and grabbed it.
Yep. Did we come back and take a short rest, or were we trying to decide that, or what?
I don't know if we had a chance to. We caught the thing, and then
you guys did take a short rest. So,
we allowed to use hit die on a short rest? Or no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody needs to recover. Also for Project Jezreel and Solomon, you guys got a long rest in, so you should be pretty much at full everything and have one less level of exhaustion.
Of course, the short rest doesn't do anything for my wisdom that has been depleted, but hey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was one of the... Sorry, what?
I was going to say, but your strength is back, right? Just have to keep one stat below max at all times.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, the madcap was their signature thing is draining wisdom. So.
Yeah, mine did get drained by 1 point.
And I've got one level. Do you have exhaust in Ewan? How many are you at? 3 or 2?
3.
Okay, all right. I've got 1. Okay.
He hasn't let me recover those yet.
I know. Guy's a jerk.
And I'm only at half my max hit points.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Really?
No, that's my max right now is half.
Well, he must be hard pressed to level stuff. That's why.
30.
Just won't get through to you. That's the problem.
34 hit points is my maximum at the moment.
Get a dog, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm dog minding. Just got its wisdom teeth taken out, so it's a little docile. Yeah, little Cavalier King Charles. But I've got an actual dog now, but she's not here right now. Got a border collie.
Oh yeah,
Aussie dog. Yeah,
nice. So you guys just had this experience. You took a short rest. Solomon and Project Jezreel, you're kind of just still napping. I guess you slept in today because you didn't have any bad dreams making things weird.
Or, in my case, injuries of any kind or exhaustion.
Yeah, Ewan just lays down. He's done. He's done for the day.
So you guys hear Barnabas kind of rattling around in the trunk. It's not too loud because you had the forethought to just cover him in a bunch of blankets. So he can't really hurt himself, but he also can't really make a whole lot of noise. But you still hear him like kind of banging away in there.
It's going to help me sleep.
It's like white noise. It'd be nice.
I wonder what use he has. Is he just a messenger of Maggie? Or is he does he fill some nefarious purpose? Perhaps those was it their dwarves?
Yeah.
Perhaps those dwarves would know. I'm sure they're tired. They tire of this tire of his incessant chattering and are probably thankful for the break.
Doesn't matter. He's in the damn box. It's going to help me sleep.
So while you guys are resting a bit, even though it's like 11 a.m., you guys hear a knock at the door.
I will go and answer it since I'm awake. I was looking for Barnabas in the journal. Like, is he just some just some animated skull, or is he like a flame skull, or?
Don't know.
So chapter where it says known NPCs in chapter 3, you should see Barnabas.
I don't see known NPCs.
I don't see. He's not there.
I don't see any like a known NPC section. All I see is the chapter 3 heading. And Fernia's terrain, foraging in Fernia, and soul coin are the only 3 things under that heading.
Oh, that's handouts, player handouts?
Right.
So you don't see the NPC tab?
Nope.
That's weird.
Yeah, I see it on mine.
Yeah. Chapter 3 under NPCs.
Should be right above.
I see him. Yep. Yeah, I see him now.
I see. I didn't realize known NPCs is a separate thing.
There's like 2 chapter 3s.
Yeah, so there's known history, there's known NPCs, and then there's the player handouts, which has more general information. So, but as you open the door, you see standing before you Mad Maggie. Just as a reminder, put it all up there.
So then I would open the door and go, ah!
Oh, why, hello, dearie. I have come to fetch you in.
I believe he is sleeping or trying to sleep.
Well, wake him up. We have a deal.
What's the rush?
And I will close the door. And then go back and tell you that Mad Maggie's here.
Oh, well, too bad. I don't know what to tell her.
I will go back
to
to the door.
now. What does she need me now for? Let her wait.
Okay, I will go back and sit on my bed.
All right. So then with that, the door splinters into tiny pieces, and a figure that is so tall it actually needs to bend down and squeeze into the room comes in, moaning, "Ooh!" And it is Mickey. And from behind Mickey, you hear Mad Maggie say, "It is not very wise to insult your host."
I would say a few hours ago would have thought that, but now for some reason I don't think so.
Oh, and why is that?
Feel like I'm low on wisdom.
What is wrong with you?
We were jumped by madcaps. And
yeah, we've been nothing but assaulted since we got in here.
The red caps, they have what you say, they have impaired some of our their faculties. Fortunately, I am still whole. But Lux and Ewan, not so much.
Well, the red caps are bloodthirsty creatures.
I don't think the red caps are capable of coming into our dreams and fucking with us.
Oh? You've been experiencing strange dreams? And she pushes past Mickey to emerge into the room.
Yeah, it doesn't really, it's not really conducive to proper sleep. So if you don't mind, we could talk about this at a later point when I've had a chance to sleep.
Oh, like 8 hours. No. Okay.
Well, I'm sure you have nothing pressing. You have nothing that you are required to address. And the cathedral that's popped into existence, which we have an agreement for me to share information about that. I'm sure that can wait for you to get your beauty sleep. Okay, I'll come back.
What if we rush there now? We'll just die.
I'm not suggesting you rush into things, but if you are not worried about getting things done with any alacrity, then I will make my way out and call upon you later. But do know my hospitality has limits. This is my fortress.
I mean, we could at least learn with Mad Maggie. It is okay if I address you by Mad Maggie. That is not offensive.
That is my preferred name and title.
We could at least perhaps listen and understand what knowledge Mad Maggie has, and then choose to act after said knowledge.
Fine.
Fine? What does that mean?
Ewan will start getting up. Where are we doing this?
We will do this in my laboratory. Come, walk with me. Your friends may join if they wish.
I walk over to the chest that has Barnabas in it, and I kick it. Is this yours?
It's what, mine?
You don't hear that rattle? You don't hear that low muffled talking?
My ears are not so good in my old age. What
No
is it I
excuse.
should be hearing?
You got flying skull. Is that one of yours?
Oh, Barnabas. He is a treat, isn't he? Somewhat like a jester in a way.
It's like a boil on my ass.
I'll keep him in the chest if you must. It is pleasing to me that he is annoyed.
This also pleases me. Let's go experiment on Ewan.
As long as this laboratory is not no smoking.
You may smoke.
Good.
It does not interfere with the process. Are the rest of you going to be joining?
Yes,
I
I'm
will.
intrigued.
I will be defending you in should you try anything untoward.
Untoward, and she feigns such offense. Why, what could I possibly want that would be untoward? You are in my home. I have given you food. I have given you shelter. Sure, my red caps seem to have been a nuisance, but you are fine.
As long as we remain that way, there will not be a problem.
Get on with the probing. Let's go.
Excellent.
I shall watch if anything is untoward.
I shall enjoy this.
For science.
So she leads you around the premises, which once again you find to be very maze-like. There's many twists and turns, and as you are experiencing the layout, some of it seems to be really impossible architecture in a way. You make several right turns that should lead you in a circle, but they don't. and you're not feeling any like incline or decline to the floor. So it's hard to explain the reason for the strange architecture. But eventually you do come into a large room, which is full of shelves that hold various liquids. Many of the liquids seem to be also containing strange things within, body parts, small creatures, organs, various sludges and slimes. There are bones and mummified or desiccated dolls strung up into various places. There is a large cauldron with some kind of bubbling liquid, and she directs you to a table which seems to be stained with blood, and is also has restraints, and she motions for you, and if you would please lay upon the table.
You ever heard of sanitation?
Sanitation? Yeah. Oh, are you worried about the little bit of blood and other fluids? Come on, you don't seem that skittish. Squeamish.
Oh, I've definitely seen my share of blood. Comes with the territory. I just don't want to get infected with whatever the hell these things had.
Infected? And don't worry, you won't be on the table for that long. Come, lie down.
I used to be an assistant to a scientist once, Mad Maggie. Let me help.
I push him forward.
Let me help.
I just do that. I push.
I can't do that.
Forward. And the blood, I'll scoop it with my fingers and taste it. It tastes fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It isn't diseased.
Roll a con save.
She kind of looks at you, and also you notice that her eyes very frequently are looking in opposite directions. But this time, both of her eyes focus on Project Ezreal as he does that. And she says, "Hi, you are interesting."
I'm going to study him instead.
No, I appreciate your enthusiasm to act as my assistant. I do not require such help right now, but you are welcome to watch closely. And then, Ewan, do you lie down on the table?
I'll sit there at first. You might actually need me to lay down.
Well, yes.
Why?
Because I need to study the mark upon your head. I would prefer to do it with you lying down so that I can look down upon it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll lay down and try and be as hyper aware as possible.
Where's Mickey?
He is there standing over, like, kind of next to the exit. And as Lux looks to see where Mickey is, he just kind of goes, "Arr!" It is a sound of great pain.
Project Ezreal must be so torn. Which one? Do I spend time with my cousin?
Yes.
Or
yes, he does remind me of me.
So as Ewan lies down, Mad Maggie says, "Good." And then she goes over to her workbench and pulls out a scalpel that is also likewise stained with rust-colored fluids. And she walks over to Ewan with the scalpel and bends down, looking upon the symbol.
What the hell do you need a scalpel for?
And it hurts. Don't worry. I'm not doing anything that will cause you harm.
It looks like your hand's shaking from here. You need a toke. You good?
I'm good, but I appreciate your concern for my dexterity.
And while I won't have any sense of what magical thing she's doing, I will be watching from like a medicine check perspective.
Okay, give me a medicine check. All right.
I guess what I'll do right quick is she's about to fucking start cutting into me for some reason. I'll just use a moxie and brace up and get some fucking temporary hit points.
She can't quite cut into your flesh because she keeps fighting through the temporary hit points.
I get 10 up.
All right. Kurt, I sent you what your medicine check revealed.
Is there any heat in this room?
Yeah, there is a fire going on below the cauldron with the bubbling fluid.
Okay, I'm going to grab a chair, like a stool, and sit next to it because it's so friggin' cold in here.
Trust, brother, to need to sit by the fire in hell.
Where is Vegnog?
Vegnog's just he'd probably be standing, about 10 feet back from the table, just like watching intently.
I'm going to attempt to get Vegnog's attention and look at him and then look at Mickey. Kind of like watch him. But I don't know if Vegnog would pick that up. Because I'm afraid to say anything because I'm afraid she'd hear it.
Let's see. Vegnog looks at you as you're probably gesturing with like smoke kind of fumes coming everywhere.
Yeah, just my eyes are looking at you, and then I look at Mickey and look back at you like, watch him.
And Vegnog just kind of nods.
Okay.
And starts watching Mickey intent, like just instead of staring at Mad Maggie, he's now staring at Mickey.
Okay.
All right. So Mad Maggie bends down with the scalpel and moves it over Ewan's head, and then begins taking scrapings from the skin of where the mark is located. It feels a little strange to you, Ewan, but it's not painful. It's almost like the area is fairly calloused. So it's almost like removing some dead skin from your foot with pumice stone or something along those lines. And she takes it and she places it inside one of her long index fingernails and then raises it to her nose and snorts deeply. You're muted, Kurt.
You're muted, Kurt.
I said as soon as you said it, I knew it was a Coke nail.
And as she does that, she goes, "The magic is strong in that mark. It is not arcana. No, this is the magic of That is the magic of fiends. But also faith? Strange. Tell me, Ewan, when did you get this mark?
Been a while.
How did it come to be upon your forehead?
We were chasing some fucking bishop.
A bishop?
Or a former bishop.
Or a cardinal.
Or cardinal, whatever. Some motherfucker. I don't know.
And then Mad Maggie turns to the rest of you. Were the rest of you, did you have the mark placed upon your heads at the same time?
It was simultaneous.
Do any of you know anything about the mark? What was going on that it was placed upon your foreheads?
Well,
some
that
sort
city.
of evil devilry.
That city was about to be brought here.
City? You mean that mass of land floating over the river Styx? That's a city?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then she walks back over to her bench and she takes a jar and a flat stick, almost like a tongue depressor, and begins mixing this paste within. It's a kind of dull green. And she takes a dollop of it and she slathers it over the top of the mark on your forehead. And it smells horrid. It smells like the worst diarrhea after Mexican taco night. It is just awful. And it is being placed on your forehead and spread around. And it feels very warm. And she begins then chanting as she does that. And as she begins the chanting, bits of energy begin manifesting around you. And they become brighter and brighter until they reveal themselves to be a matrix of magical energy that is surrounding you, stemming from this mark. It almost looks like chains are emanating from the mark and wrapping around you. And especially focused not just around your head, but also your heart in your chest. Interesting. It seems that this magic is a binding magic. You are bound to the individual that placed it upon you.
That's what I like to hear.
Were you a willing participant? Is this some kind of a deal that you made with a creature?
Most definitely not.
I see. The energy is strong. Even I would not be able to break this binding. And then she begins examining some of the magic around that is wrapping around your body, kind of experimentally plucking at some of these strings and chains emanating from the mark. Oh, this is soul magic. It is bound directly into your soul. And then she seems to be looking at something kind of beginning at your heart, but then kind of trailing off away from your body. So she's looking and then she's like following something. Seems that there is a trace of something. It disappears after a while, but it is something that could perhaps be followed back to the source where the magic is bound.
This means that if this line can be followed to its source, it means it can be followed to us.
Or we can follow it to him.
Both are very true statements. The connections are what's important. The connection is strong.
We don't have any need to find him again.
But your
Except
souls
maybe except to kill the fucker.
Yeah.
And we already did that. He is dead.
I don't think so.
I think what Maggie's trying to say is that these souls which are on your body are not yours. They seem to be entwined with this other being.
Are we some sort of Horcrux?
Horcrux? I'm not familiar with this term.
From a book.
Apparently this mark on my forehead is reserved stash, so that's good.
In any event, we don't need to kill him again. He is already in Fernia. It does not get much worse. He can receive his punishment here.
I don't know why you think he would be receiving any sort of punishment here.
I mean, if we can get ourselves in the city back to the material plane, surely they will punish his failure, assuming they are not already tormenting him.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't click that. I was trying to look at some of the tabs which I had up.
So the next thing she does is she grabs one of these desiccated dolls. It seems to be made with some kind of frame, and the skin has been draped over this frame and stitched together, and it's been allowed to shrink. And it looks like a humanoid with a miniature shrunken head. And she places it next to the mark and begins chanting and plucking at the strings of energy that are wrapped around Ewan. Not quite pulling them, but causing them to reverberate like a guitar string. And the doll actually begins to vibrate in the same frequency. And then once the resonation is going simultaneously with the strings of the energy and with the doll, she presses the forehead of the doll to your head, Ewan. And she holds it there for a moment and then pulls it away, and some of this green paste has come away with it on the face of this thing. And then after a moment, the face actually seems to move and mold, and the flesh is being pushed around until it is an exact duplicate of your head.
I don't like that.
What? What don't you like about it?
What's the point of that?
Dearie, are you afraid of this doll?
I know what you freaky fey creatures are like with facsimiles.
Well, you are wise to be concerned about that, but this This is not one of those, at least not in the way that you are thinking. Rather, it is a copy, in a sense, of the magic that has bound you. Magic is bound not to just to the mark, but also to your body and soul. So, in order to be a copy, it must also be, in some sense, a copy of you.
And what way exactly?
I just said.
So if something were to happen to this thing,
I would be able to see what happened to you. Or rather, the magic that's you are, the magic that you are bound to.
we use that thing to track the guy down.
No, I have no interest in meeting the person that has bound you. I'm more simply wishing to understand more of the magic that he has utilized.
Maybe we get you on a date or something.
Oh, I am in no need of courtesans. I am still committed to my former lover.
Does he know that?
I don't care.
He will know.
Does he know that?
Before the end.
I've heard some awful things about that son of a bitch.
Oh?
I don't know. It feels like it was like from another life or something. I don't know.
So there's a tiny doll that looks like Ewan.
Well, it's kind of like, think of like one of those wire dolls. So the body and it's kind of like a stick figure, but wrapped in like desiccated skin. Right. But the face is like a lifelike clay replica of his.
Does it have the same 3 levels of exhaustion? I mean, you may want to play the doll.
See the exhaustion in his face or in the doll's face.
Does it have one arm?
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, it kind of does. The arm does kind of shrivel and kind of curl and blacken and char.
Is there a way that you can maybe provide us with another one of these dolls, Mad Maggie? Like, for the purposes of finding this creature, I guess.
Interesting. So you have earned some additional hospitality from me as payment for this mark. As payment, you could take one such doll. I could prepare another. Or I can provide you with provisions. I might even be able to spare one of my vehicles. For that, though, I would need to be able to examine this fine automaton you have brought with you.
Do not take silly doll. We take provisions and vehicle out of here.
Well, if you want the vehicle, I'll need to study you as well. You are an intriguing specimen. An intelligent golem.
I am no golem. I am warforged.
Whatever you wish to call yourself, you are animated with magic.
It's a whole thing now. They are, in fact, alive.
I don't care if it is alive or dead. I care that it is magical.
Now you're sounding more like the things that live around here. Am I done here?
Yes, we have finished. You may get up.
Do you keep the doll or?
Yeah, she goes to place the doll on her workbench. And she is very careful in terms of propping it up so that it is standing.
Does make sure I get. Let me see a picture of this.
So when she does that, I look around to see are there other dolls that look like people?
There's a couple. There's also a number of dolls that look like monsters.
I'm gonna use like a part of her robe to wipe this shit off my head.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check.
Cool.
You see, but not until just after you bring it to your forehead that the linens that she wears are not only crusted with mud and other things, but a few bugs come and are now crawling on your face and your hand.
That's better than wherever the fuck that thing was. The bugs will go away eventually. Knock them off. Go examine these other dolls. Do any of the dolls look like the dwarves?
Give me an investigation check. Anybody can give me an investigation check.
Fucking sleep deprived and one armed. So I'm gonna use a moxie.
I was only investigating whatever's inside my ear, but apparently I can't get at the earwax. That's driving me slowly insane.
You've still got your gauntlets on.
Didn't matter that I negated my disadvantage, but
so Vagnog and Ewan, you guys do see that there are a couple of figures that appear to be dwarvish, but you would need to actually get a little bit closer to see the details to know if they're Chuka or Clonk.
I mean, I don't know. I'm all up in there. Have at it, Vagnog.
Yeah, Vagnog could get a little bit closer.
Okay. As you get closer, Mad Maggie gets agitated. Do not touch that. Get away from those. They are precious.
Not touching it, just looking.
I apologize. I was just looking, not touching. Do not wish to break anything.
Yes, we look with our eyes and not with our hands.
Oh, please step away. They are precious, and I do not wish to risk any harm upon them. But as you look, Vagnog, you do see that they are replicas of Chuka and Clonk.
So Vagnog is going to then step back away with the rest of everyone else.
You also see, and everybody actually sees, a silver mask similar to the one that was described by Chuka and Clonk. However, this one has a large fiber dragon stone embedded in the forehead.
Does it look like any sort of mask that the Blood of Vol would use? Because they were using kyber crystals and stuff like that.
No, not specifically. This mask is a very plain mask. It's basically as if one of those, like, the masks that the Jabberwockies wear, or like the Anonymous. Like it's very plain. There's no design elements to it, and it's just completely made of a silver metal, but there is a gem embedded in the forehead right in the center, like a kind of third eye type thing. So, do I have your permission to examine the Warforged?
We just need to get out of here. We need to go find Boy Shaloub and then stop him from coming back to the material plane. So provisions, I think, is all we need.
So you do not wish to have a vehicle?
We want a vehicle. It will be easy to crush. To make our way over the endless fields of our enemies. Yes,
but time is of the essence.
You can examine me if you wish.
Excellent.
Just don't take anything.
So she begins looking you up and down. She goes to her bench and she takes a kind of censer, almost like one of those ones that you would see in a church where they're spreading out the smoke, and does that around you, like spreading the smoke around. The smoke kind of swirls around you, and it kind of flashes with color from time to time. It's black smoke, but then will become a bright blue or pink. And then she walks up and she puts her finger through the smoke and then licks it. And then she inhales some of the smoke, and then she goes to a jar on her table and then blows the smoke into the jar and traps it. And then she comes over and then motions with her hand, and the smoke then flows into her mouth.
How long does this process take?
Just a few minutes.
I don't understand. Does the smoke that caresses my perfect physique, is it intoxicating? Is this normal? As Vegnog looks to the other fleshlings.
It's not normal, but it is glorious.
Where is Ewan, when this is going on?
I am just sort of by her, or kind of by her, shelf of things.
So I would go next to you while she's doing this and kind of give you a look like, should we take her right now? Give you a look like, should we just jump her while she's in the middle of this?
I just it's fucking bags under the eyes. I'm still probably gaunt as shit from loss of blood. And it's like I can't even do a full shrug because I only have the one arm.
Right. And it's slow because you're at half speed. It's a very slow shrug.
Yeah, exactly.
So by the time I get my answer, the ceremony's over.
It's more like a not yet.
That's awesome. So Vegnag, Mad Maggie then turns to you and says, I will need you to be on the table now, much like your friend was.
Are you making doll of me?
Perhaps. You'll see. Nothing that will harm you.
Okay. This better be a pretty damn great machine. As Vecna gets onto the table.
So she takes that scalpel again. And it's interesting because even though Vegnag, you don't have this mark of Crozen, you have your own mark upon your head, as all Warforged do, which is typically called your Golra. And it is a unique mark that is individual to each Warforged. Every Warforged that's been ever created has their own mark that is different from any other. And what she does is she takes the scalpel and takes some scrapings, as similar to Ewan, although there are fewer because you are metal, obviously. But there's a couple of specks, and rather than putting it on her finger in her nail, she just directly snorts it off your face. And then she repeats the same process with the paste on your mark and then creating a doll like what she did with Ewan.
So, do I get to take this doll with me?
No, this is mine. Although, if you wish for your own, I could provide that. It would take away from the other things that you have requested. Or you could give me something else to act as payment.
What do you do with this doll?
I will continue to study it. I suspect that you do not wish to stay here for in-depth examination. This allows me to do my own study in my own time, as well as does not require you to remain here.
What else does it let you do?
Think of it like a painting. A painting is a moment in time, a replication of an event. This acts similar to that.
As long as you can't do stuff to me while I'm far away, I would not appreciate being manipulated at a distance.
Are you talking about those fate dolls? One where somebody pricks the doll and then you feel it?
I don't know if they're called fate dolls, but some people seem to be afraid of those things.
Oh, don't worry. This isn't something so crude as those. That's hack magic.
I would not
That doesn't
expect
make
you
it
to,
sound better.
No.
I would not expect you to be a woman of hack magic. As he looks at that rusty knife.
With his pupilless eyes.
All right, so based on what you have given me today, I will grant you one of the vehicles from my garage, and I will give you provisions that should last you probably about a month.
That would be wonderful.
Also, I know about the deal that you've made with my mechanics. I'm okay with them giving you the prosthetic Ewan. In fact, and then she plucks something from one of her her benches. It looks to be kind of like one of those slap bracelets.
Oh, what?
A slap bracelet.
Oh, okay.
And she offers it to you and says, "Here, the arm that my mechanics are going to give you, it will not be able to replicate your own missing limb. But if you wear this upon your wrist, at the very least, you will have sensation from it. You will be able to feel what your prosthetic arm feels, if you wish." And she hands it to you, offering it.
I think with
I only need to be able to hit things hard.
I think with access to this lab and possibly a pint of Mickey's blood, I could regrow your arm, Ewan.
I ignore him.
Well, very well. It is up to you, of course. So, now you wish to know about the cathedral that appeared. Is this?
Yes, we definitely do. When did it appear?
Perhaps a day or so. It has not been there long.
Well, I think that's where we're headed.
Do you know who lives inside this cathedral?
I do not know much about the cathedral, but as I said before when we first met and I introduced myself, I am a creature of prophecy. I could read the lines of fate that surround you. I can give you information about what lies ahead. But, as I mentioned before, this ritual will require stories. Stories are powerful things that us Fae creatures treasure. It is our lifeblood. Stories hold great power. And so, if you wish to have your fate revealed, all we would need to do is tell a few stories.
It depends on what you mean by stories. Where I've been taught, everybody is a book of blood. And when we're opened, we're read.
I get it. Red, blood.
Maybe an hour ago I would have figured that one out, but nope.
Is that what you wish to do? Open us up?
No, nothing so crude. And then she brings out a scale and she places it on a table. And on the scale, she plucks a feather from within her coat and places it on the scale. And with the scale, it begins to dip on the side that she placed the feather. Now, If you wish to receive your information on your destiny, I will need a few stories from you. They will be weighed against this feather, and once those scales are balanced, then I can access the magic to read your fates.
We tell the story. Do we suddenly just forget it and no longer able to tell it anymore? Some weird Fae bullshit.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. But if the story is to be successful or to balance the scale, the closer the story is to your heart, the closer it is to something important about you, your life, your character, your identity, the more it will weigh, and the more it will bring balance to the scale.
Project Ezreal approaches the scale and he looks down at it and he says, well, blood is memory without language, and he just cuts himself into the scale.
And Mad Maggie
just
knocks
making
you
my
away.
scale dirty.
Stew, that is not the purpose of this magic. And she wipes the blood vigorously from the scale.
You can extract stories through that.
No, the stories must be extracted from your voice. You must speak them. This magic is very particular. You may wish to just give blood, but it is easy to give blood. It is not so easy to give of your story, especially when these stories may reveal dark parts that have been hidden. It is up to you the story that you wish to tell, and I may not need one from each of you. Each story will be weighed, and once the scales are balanced, then we will not need any more. So, do you wish to proceed?
I think we are good with the vehicle and provisions. I mean, we know which way to go, right? Which way to drive this vehicle. Our fates will be revealed in their own time.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
Thank you. I'm just leaving Scotland now,
Yeah.
but I thought I'd check. Have you had lunch? Do you want me to pick up some maccas?
Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet. Whatever. Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
Can I get some too?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Bring
Oh, you
some
guys
for everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna get So I'm in a call with a bunch of people. Hang on.
So yeah, with that, I would say, we know which way to go. And I would reach into my bag and take out the stone from the sword. This tells us where to go. We don't need to know our fates. Our fates will be revealed in time.
God damn it. Why'd you take that out? Fucking son of a bitch. All right, time to go.
Yes, you will know where to go. But what do you know of the challenges that lie ahead? What do you know about the locations of where you shall be, or what you will need in order to achieve that which you seek? I am not saying that what will be revealed will give you all that you need, but it is something that can certainly aid you in whatever it is you wish to do. If location is all that matters to you, then certainly take the vehicle, take the provisions, and leave this place.
Oh, thank you very much. And I'll start walking towards the door. And then seeing nobody, I guess, is following me, I guess I will stop.
Is this what all of you believe? Are you all comfortable with just knowing where to go?
I mean, making bargains with evil is usually Alyssa's thing.
Bargains.
The story is not a bargain.
Mm.
But are you telling me it won't be so easy as riding our hell machine, flamethrowers bursting, mowing down enemies in our path to our destination?
Flamethrowers? What do you mean of flamethrowers?
You know,
Hell.
guts of flame.
We're in hell. What would a flamethrower do for us?
Look pretty cool.
Wait,
Did you not see Mad Max?
do you wish for the vehicles that I provide to also have weapons? Well, sure, I can arrange that, but that will require more.
We don't need no weapons. We're fine.
And truly, you wish to know nothing about what lies ahead.
The silver
It's-
flame will protect us.
Yeah, it's less about wanting to know and more about what it costs.
To tell a story, is that really such a high
It's
risk?
never that simple, and you know it.
Is this how all of you feel?
I can tell story and see if this is enough to tip scale.
Very well. Remember, the closer that the story is to you, your heart and who you are, the more the story will weigh against the feather.
Joke's on Harry. He doesn't have one.
Once upon a time, Vegnog have friends, two friends, Kevin and Krava, who love to gamble. We all place bets with each other. One day, Kevin bet he could fetch heads of 3 people deserving of death. He bring 3 heads, a half-elf, a tiefling, and a human. All said they all wronged him in some way. They prod Vegnog for a bet, and he made one, but thought he would keep it close and then keep it close until time came. Another friend bet that he could escape Keeper's grasp. We learn of a cave where it was rumored that Shadowhag lived, who was a servant of the Keeper. We heard she had some artifact, not of this world, that was associated with a place of time unending. We go to search for this artifact, and we find it deep in her lair. But we also found her, and he got his wish. He escaped death and got trapped in place of time unending. Other friend, Kevin, went into a rage. She killed him, cut off his head. She looks to me and starts walking towards me. And I say, I have no problem with you. I won bet. She understands and fades away. And Vegnog went back to tavern that night and drank alone.
So as you finish this story, there is, and as well as you begin to tell the story, and more as the story produces, you can see a trail of smoke kind of come from your mouth through your words and swirl down to the plate of the empty scale. And then you can see it begin to rock against the feather. Give me a performance or persuasion check. And you can add 3 to that check.
Let's see. Well, definitely persuasion, because that's a +8. 17.
Okay. So the scale balances to the point where it's like about halfway to being even with the feather. So close, but still more is required. Would any of the rest of you wish to tell a story? A story of your life, a story of how you came to be you?
Lux, tell story again of Solomon's birth.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something you'd want to forget, actually.
I don't remember.
Hey, Vegdon, what was that story about Kevin Stooley again?
Kevin?
Testing the waters here. I don't remember. I don't remember what the name was.
It's Kevin and Krava.
Does he actually remember these names?
Kevin and Krava?
Wait, does
Yeah,
he
he would
remember those
remember.
names?
I'm just making sure he didn't like lose his memory of this story.
Oh, you're asking him if.
Yeah. Retell that story for us right quick.
Oh, I see.
I mean, Bagnog recalls the story.
Yeah.
For now. Till the balance is struck. Got any more gems like that, Vegnog?
Fine. I will tell the story of how I came to be a member of the Flames Hand. My mother gave birth to me, not in Onder, but far to the south. She, for reasons I've never understood, packed up and left my father behind and took me to Onder. I grew up with her telling tales, rarely, but memorably, tales of my father, Jofar, who was a brave and courageous member of the Sharn Watch, who on more than one occasion put his life at risk to defend others. And I grew up patterning much of what I wanted to be, who I thought I was, on his actions. Eventually, finances got very tight, and my mother was forced to become more or less a sellsword, beating people up. She decided that that was, in fact, not the best way, because often she was getting herself in trouble with her connections, but she needed to get her drugs because she has a tremendous drug habit. Oh, I could tell so many stories about all the time she got high and just forgot and like left me home alone, sometimes for days, no food, nothing. Eventually, I realized I was going to have to provide for myself, at least to some extent. But I did not have much in the way of skills. I was strong and I could fight because my mother had taught me the basics of that. So I too joined the watch, which meant joining in with the many people who were devout worshippers of the Silver Flame. Neither my mother nor I had much use for the religion at the time. But I did have the example of my father, Jofar, who I was told gave his life defending the city of Sharn against sometimes lycanthropes, sometimes vampires. Mother only tells me these stories when she's high, so I don't know how much trust to put in the details. I am, however, I have always harbored a fear that perhaps these stories are just drug-addled ramblings, and that perhaps my life has been based not on the life of a true hero, Jofar, but of a lesser man, one who drove my mother to leave him behind in Sharn and travel across the continent. I now see in hindsight, though, that by moving to Sharn, by surrounding myself with the adherents of the Silver Flame, that I was being groomed to find my faith, to be visited by the flame, to allow it to consume my soul, so that I could be here in Fernia now, and that we could go find Boy Shalhoub. I will have to look the name up, but that I could go and save the city of Flamed Keep and send it back to the material plane. That is how I came to be here now.
So very similar to Vegnog, as you're speaking your words, there's kind of a smoke or mist that flows from your mouth to the scale, encircling the smoke that was provided by Vegnog's story. Go ahead and give me a perception or persuasion check and add a +5 to it.
You mean performance or persuasion?
Yeah, what did I say?
Perception.
Oh, yeah. Performance or persuasion. Okay. And with that, the balance is even. And so once that happens, Mad Maggie says, the balance is even. However, more stories provide more power. If anybody else wishes to provide their story, perhaps more can be learned.
Project Ezreal, I challenge you to tell the story of how you were tortured into your present hideous form.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I like look almost defeated, and I look up. I'm like, my blood and these scars are my memories. Though before I was a project or a construct, I did have a life. I was once a sick man, almost upon death. I wished for immortality with every breath. And I met Dr. Sheev. He was the most well-regarded in his field. We worked together for many years. And then when he moved to the Mournlands, I moved as well. I adventured and I found the blood of Val. I found that blood was the strength to everything. My disease could be beaten by the blood which was inside of me. And I drank from the chalice, and my body restored itself to a youthful version. I was then eventually signed back to Dr. Sheev's expeditions. I told him of the blood of Val, but he was unimpressed. He didn't want to reach immortality or through these means, through his own blood, which I found confusing. But regardless, I worked with him. And then it was one day, he handed me this artifact which he found in the Mournlands, and that was me. I grabbed it without thinking, and I turned into this shriveled, aborted fetus and black ichor. And from then on, I was his construct or his project Ezreal to perform experiments on.
So as you speak your story once again, mist or smoke, and each time it's a different color, flows from your mouth to swirl upon the scale, and now it tips in favor of the smoke. There is a great deal of power in the stories that you have told, but more may be achieved. Do any of others wish to tell a tale?
The birthing story.
Well, if we're going to forget these stories anyway, this could be a time for you to forget about Jofar entirely.
How did Lux meet Jofar?
So, Tony, Lux, or Peter, you guys don't have, I'm not like doing this I'm not like waiting, expecting you guys to have to tell a story. But if you want the opportunity, it is here.
Ewan is way too tired to tell anybody a fucking story.
Okay.
So Lux takes a deep puff. So it was late. We were in the tavern, and this man showed up. He was pretty charming, I would suspect. Maybe, or I was just really high. I just couldn't tell. But he shared a drink, and he claimed to be some kind of doctor. So we chatted it up for a while. And, he said he needed something from me. He was running some experiments. I was, sure, why not? I mean, I'm not going to be around much longer. So yada, yada, yada. He comes back to me and he says that his project is complete and that it'll be going forward. So I guess what I have to say is, Solomon, Project Ezreal's your half-brother.
Well, the family resemblance is obvious.
Lux, is this a true story? Or are you trying to pull wool over the eyes?
I don't care. I go over and I hug Project Ezreal with tears in my eyes.
Brother!
Project Ezreal accepts. He's like, I've never had a brother before.
So Peter, is that a true story or is that
Lux believes that story to be true.
Okay. So I forgot to ask Project Ezreal, give me a performance or persuasion check and add 3.
Same. Oh, not very good.
You have action points.
Yeah, let's use it. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, at least it's 13.
Mm-hmm. And then Lux, give me a performance or persuasion and add 2.
That's a disadvantage, so that's 14. Oh, it'll be 14 anyway.
All right. Well, Ewan, you're the last one. Do you wish to tell a story?
I'm not going to tell any compelling stories right now.
Very well. So the scale is very heavy. with the mist from each of you as you told your stories. Mad Maggie begins chanting and waving her arms about the scale. And as she does, the smoke and mist begins to swirl into a ball that is roiling around, at times seeming to be violently swirling about itself, almost like she's creating and containing a storm within the mist. And then there's a bright flash within, and a portion of the mist is gone, but then the rest of it goes into each of you. And each of you then is now fully healed, fully rested. Exhaustion, any ability damage, anything is wiped away. So you all feel rejuvenated, but you also all feel a tingle as if there is something lost. And it's not the stories that are lost. You remember the stories, and you remember the feelings around them and everything like that. But there is a sense that there is a piece of you that is no longer quite right or quite there. Project Ezreal,
them but me,
give me
right?
a religion check.
Do I get healed up?
Yes.
Up to 34.
No, you're fully healed now. Even the wound around your arm has closed. So everybody's at full everything. The only thing is you don't regrow an arm, but
right.
Mechanically everybody is back up to full.
Exhaustion's gone?
Yeah.
Hit die?
Yeah, all healed.
Yeah, now we can take her.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I need to take a break for maybe 5 or so. I'll be right back. Maybe 10. I'll be right back. I'll try to be right back.
Okay, actually, it's a good place for us to take a break then. So we'll be back in 5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thrilled to find out I have a half brother, because I thought for sure that story was going to end with Dr. Sheev is your father, your real father. Especially since I never got the impression that Dr. Sheev was Project Ezreal's father. All I really know for sure is that Lux banged Dr. Sheev. That's it.
Yeah, that was a twist I never saw coming. I like Peter's statement. Lux 100% believes this is real.
Yeah, it's surprised to me too. But I go with it. That's cool.
I couldn't remember the names of either Belshalor or Thalios. I had to look that up after they told the story, which is, in character anyway.
Wait, Ondare, Thrain, Sharn, Thalios?
It'd be funny if like we were all children of Lux. It's just like this weird ass like family band.
Right.
Wait a minute. How am I a Warforged and Lux is my mommy? Some weird shit happened. I don't remember any of it, but it was epic.
Yeah. When an iron golem and a half orc love each other very much.
Mistakes are made.
Brendan, you get the message I sent you in the chat? Cool.
But yeah, the way I see it, what could go wrong making a deal with a hag in Fernia?
Nothing at all.
One of the things I've been hoping to do but have had no time for is to try, now that I know the new patch is out for Baldur's Gate 3. So I want to try that again. It's been months since I touched that game. So
I will say that it's actually a pretty surprisingly good update in terms of the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics look a lot smoother. The detail is more refined. It also adds some additional story elements that I think are pretty cool. Like, for example, you can actually save Shadowheart now. That is an option. Yeah, I like it. And then also it makes it more interesting for more martial characters. They have some additional options that are pretty cool. And they finally separated the disengage and jump functions.
Yeah, I remember reading people complaining about that. I didn't really have so much of a problem with that. I never needed them at the same time. So,
well, I just didn't know how to separate it. So every time I tried to disengage, it would just jump. And sometimes it would try to move in position so that they could jump. And then I'd get an attack of opportunity on me. And I'm like, what the fuck?
But this reminds me of that because I didn't get to play like through the full story. I guess I inadvertently speed ran it because I got to the Underdark really early and then found the boat and defeated all the little Grey Dwarves. So it was like game over. I was like, it's only been like 5 hours. But I did run into the hag in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they updated that a bit too. That interaction.
And she wanted me to give her my eye, and I did not.
Yeah. One of your little peepers, Petal.
Yeah.
Apparently, they don't say it, but if you do that, you have disadvantage on all of your perception checks, and I think even disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Like, it's a pretty serious deficit.
Because just like reading other people's experiences, like I know you get the eye back, but it's like, there are certain things I was just sort of playing in character, and I wouldn't give up. She didn't say I was going to get the eye back. So there's that. And then I didn't let Volo conduct eye surgery on me because he's Volo.
Yeah.
I gave up my eye, and all I got was this cursed magic eye. God damn it.
It's funny that you said that you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you were talking before me. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny that you say that you speed ran, one of those. But I'm the exact opposite. I put in like 40 hours before I even entered the Underdark once. Yeah, because I was like every little thing I had to know, I had to explore, I had to open up the entire map before I could even allow myself to go down there.
See, I didn't realize this is part of the thing. I didn't know I was going into the Underdark. I just you go down the well in that one ruined village and you fight the spiders, and then you get to just a big hole, and it's like, hey, look, you can jump in the big hole. So of course I jumped in the big hole, but then you can't jump out of it. You're in the Underdark now.
Yeah.
So, right, like I had no idea, even when I was fighting the Grey Dwarves, that I was like near the end of the game.
Yeah.
Or at least the end of the preview. But what I was going to say before is that just from reading about the game, I feel pretty sure there were going to be other effects to trading in your eye. Like at some point, the hag went through a whole spiel about how if you speak with dead after you kill her, how she's going to be back because she's been planning for this forever. So, and she has like a sister in Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the eye thing was going to come back again.
I can't wait because I feel like that's going to be a really big expansion or patch when they actually allow you to go to Baldur's Gate, because there's so many callbacks and people that you're supposed to meet there. Mm-hmm. and just because the city is just so big. So
yeah,
I'm really excited.
They even mentioned in the game the Goblin Song Tavern, although they call it the Elf Song Tavern by mistake.
Yeah.
But there's like the two tieflings that you can meet. At least it seems like they're setting up you meeting them again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited just to be able to get anywhere above level 4. That's all I want. I don't even care because it's supposed to eventually get up. I think they said level 12 is probably going to be the max, which I feel like is a pretty good level for a game like that. But just level 5. That's all I want. I want fireball. I want second attack. I want all the things.
I mean, there are mods you can get to go above level 4, but I'm not sure. I know they don't have like the spells done, so you can't get the 3rd level spells, but you can get like extra feats. I don't know about second attack.
Yeah, I'm also hopeful that they'll add some more classes. I'd really like to see the barbarian. I'd like to see the monk. And I'd like to see the bard.
I don't think they had
all
them
the
in
stuff-
the original Baldur's Gate either. So they'd have to like recreate the whole thing and not just like copy it from the older Baldur's Gates.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had to start more or less from scratch.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Dustin?
I don't remember.
Sorry,
I'm playing through the first one right now.
Oh yeah, those were good games.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Yeah.
See, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like some of the characters from the first two games were just so good.
Yeah.
Minsk and Boo in particular.
Minsk and Boo.
Oh.
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes!
Yeah, I had Minsk
Yeah.
like when Minsk like
Yeah.
killed. He
Yeah,
turned
sorry.
because he turned and tried killed me or tried to kill me
Mhm.
because I didn't help him in time. So then I had to like do this whole. I had to like go. It was, but I cut it really close, like the day. Like I had like basically I couldn't do a rest anymore because otherwise he'd wake up and then he would turn. So I went through great lengths to try to find Dinah here before he would turn in like a day. Yeah, it was such a pain in the ass just to keep him around.
Right. But he just has so many because of the miniature giant space hamster angle. He's just so memorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's Tony?
I don't know. I never, and I don't expect anyone here knows, but I do remember when they came out with Spelljammer, and they did the whole Spelljammer bestiary. And I was never really sure why Giant Space Hamster was there. And then it just added so much to the video game like 2 years later.
It's like they were setting it up.
I remember, I don't remember if this is 1 or 2, but one of my favorite Minsk lines is when you put like Minsk as leader of the party. He'll sometimes say, particularly if you're playing like a wizard, he'll say, "Magic is impressive, but now Minsk leads. Swords for everyone."
I love that guy.
And now I'm wondering if we manage to save Lassice in the course of all this, does that mean that Shaylin has to come back? Tony's just gonna have to like break the news to her. Like, look, I know you get sleepy, but
There he is. Everything okay?
Yeah. I just got distracted with some barbecue chips.
Nice.
it's like just one, and then I'll go back to the game. Just one more, and then I'll go back to the game.
Yeah, that bag. I should have just brought the bag down and finished it because it's nearly empty.
All right. So with all of that, after the bits of the power flow into each of you, Mad Maggie inhales what is left, and her eyes become black voids. And in a voice that seems to echo with her own voice, she begins to say, In times of old when darkness spread, as known to every thrain, Tira battled against Belshalor, foiling his evil reign. Bound within his silver prison, and though his hands were tied, with whispers dark his influence could change men's hearts and minds. A fact untold of Tira's life, her teenage years were wild. The shadow in the flame now knew that Tira birthed a child. With all his time and focus aimed to ensure Tira's shame, he'd corrupt her line, plant the seed, through her blood he'd be freed. After 1 century and threescore, 5 hours before the morn, underneath Ron and Cypros, Melise Moran was born. She decreed the church's leaders, speaking truth to power. She rallied throngs of common folk, faith in church did sour. It was the time of 2 keepers, the parish split and cracked. Melise stoked flames of rage and hate to bring Belshalor back. The church rushed to regain order, not to birth a martyr. Melise would rot in Dreadhold's keep, doomed to eternal sleep. But this was all part of the plan, while Tarnish waged cold war. Melise commanded her legions safely from old Belcour. Melise skulked through the realm of dreams, dodging nightmarish threats, and after centuries of prepping, the trap was finally set. The next part you already know. Jayla's captive in hell. The fiends are corrupting her flesh to make ready the shell. Her body Melise will possess, and she will have access to pull Clonier from the ward and free the Overlord. But don't fear, as hope is not lost. They need Jayla alive, while they seek a lost artifact for Melise to arrive. Within a wound upon the land, weeping rivers of pus, lies a crown of obsidian atop of mound of rust. Only Haruman knows the spot in a realm of red stakes. You must show grace to draw him out, and in rage he will shake. Beware the crown's slick defender, undulating blender. To beat it, you must remember to use anti-embers. And finally, you should know just how far you must go. Until Melise completes her scheme, only a dream can kill a dream. And with that, the power wanes, and she suddenly becomes a little fatigued. She says, "So that is what is revealed from your stories, the power that you granted."
I didn't catch about half of that. Can you repeat what you said?
It's right there. It's on the screen. Certainly a lot. So how fatigued would we say?
She looks like she needs a breather.
Like we could take her fatigued?
I mean, she appears to be a relatively old woman.
Yeah,
she has her pair of ravens on each shoulder and Mickey behind.
It's Mickey we gotta distract.
Yeah, 2 crows.
Two Crows episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So with that, Mad Maggie says, "All right. Well, you have what you've sought out here. I will make sure my minions provide you with the provisions and allow you to choose a vehicle from one of my fleets." Now, are you sure we can't do something for that shield?
Not really up to us.
Yeah, Alyssa looks very unokay with letting it go, and she says, pity. But no bother. I understand. You have already given me so much. Is there anything else that you require of me while you remain in my domain?
Nope.
How about a working knowledge of how to navigate this damn place?
The this spark, which I think you've taken from us, from the divinity within, is what do you intend on doing with that?
What is it that you mean?
Something has faded from me, and I think from everyone else as well.
As I said, the magic to pull the strings of fate to understand where your destiny lies required magic to power it.
Well, I feel nothing. This is good. My divinity is as intact as it has always been.
Did it take something from me even though I didn't tell a story?
No.
We shall talk more on this divinity project, Azrael. I am curious to hear more. You seem like a divine type fellow.
Didn't think so.
Time is wasting. We should leave.
Yes, I agree you should be on your way. And then she rings a little handbell, and one of the red caps pops in, and she commands him to lead you to the garage, and says, gives a choice of the vehicles to make ready for you guys to choose from. And then she says, if you'll excuse me, I have much to look over. I wish you well on your quest.
Thank you for your hospitality. Goodbye.
Did you wouldn't get his arm?
Not yet. But you guys are going to the garage.
Gotta go get our stuff from our room first.
Yeah, so the red cap will show you to your room first, if that's where you wish to go before the garage.
Making sure the red cap doesn't throw a fit if we try and say, hey, we gotta go to our room first. This motherfucker's like, no, she said, go to the garage. I'm only taking you to the garage. We have to fucking kill a motherfucker.
No, he's perfectly fine taking you back to your room. So, for any of you that might have noticed, it seems like the way that you were taking back to your room is wildly different than the route you came from. But you arrive at the room and the door is broken into splinters. And you can see what belongings that you had stored there are still there.
I'm gonna have the tell the red cap to wait outside.
Okay.
Thought we were going to give the red cap all our bags. Take them to our car.
Can he see through the splintered door? Like,
oh, it's totally destroyed. When I say that, the door was reduced to mere splinters.
Right.
Yeah, just go wait outside.
All right.
Should we let the skull out?
Hear me out. I'm just like draw everybody in close or whatever, whoever is interested. We on a promise of receiving one of those damn coins, I tell him I think we should tell him to see if he can acquire our weird clay doll things. The ones that she made of me and Vegnog.
Or perhaps knock them over. They seemed very delicate. But you could just knock them over and break them.
As long as that doesn't fuck with us.
But you mean tell the skull?
Yeah.
Because he has no hands. How will he steal these dolls?
He's got a mouth. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, yeah, sure. Maybe we can knock him over.
We might be able to knock over the two dwarves as well.
And then, yeah. And then he has to, in order to receive his reward, he has to come find us at the garage, or tell him someplace else. I don't know, so that we don't have to see him again.
There's also in that room many things, but one which I took notice of was this mask. Kyber crystals are quite powerful. That's what I saw inside of one of them.
Inside of what? What?
Inside the mask.
I am concerned that we could be asking too much of this skull. We should give him 1 or 2 tasks. And then realize that if he fails, we may have to fight our way out.
He's not gonna, if he fails, he's probably just gonna be destroyed.
And maybe
Yes.
Magic Maggie, or whatever her name is, seems like she can figure things out. Like she might be able to figure out that we put the skull up to it using her magic.
And he might switch sides, knowing that she has more. More coins.
I don't expect much to come out of it, honestly. But something might.
Yes, or we could make an enemy, which would not be.
Everything here is an enemy.
We can make a bigger enemy than we need to have.
I mean, they are your dolls in your likeness. So if you want to do this, that is fine. But
if she has those dwarves bound, probably by that same thing, maybe. I don't want to be under that same effect. It's worth that as an enemy.
no, nothing that we meet here that hasn't been drawn in by fiends is going to be good. So I do not care if we make an enemy of her. But it could be a distraction. And it could be that it will delay our finding Jayla, which is the primary goal. We could find Jayla and then come back and kill Maggie and then take the dolls. once we have saved Flamekeep.
But my
Assuming we don't die in the meantime.
also my
Right.
proposition still stands for Ewan if he wishes his arm grown back.
Because
I
then
can
on our
arrange
way
that.
back, we could come back and take the mask and grow you a new arm and take all the dolls and free the dwarves. And then we have plenty of time to handle all of these things. Let the skull out of the chest when we get back.
That's very reasonable. I think that is. I would be okay with that.
Let's go.
When you say let's go, does that mean let's go to the garage, or does that mean let's go let Barnabas out and do shenaniganery?
I made my suggestion.
What is Lux thinking as this discussion is going on?
I mean, if he gets caught, then I don't know if I don't know if I want to fight my way out of here. I think if there was a way we could just if there was a way he could lead us to the room and we could like fireball it, but I don't think anybody's got fireball. I don't know. I mean, I don't blame him. I definitely wouldn't want to leave here. I was going to try to swipe one of those dolls, but my investigation check was a critical fail. So I didn't want to die trying to take one. But it's up to Ewan and Begnog. I mean, whatever they want to do. If they want to go back and try to do this, then that's fine with me.
We can wait. Oh yeah, did the wisdom scores return too?
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, I should have a 14. All right.
So down by the garage.
Yeah.
All right, so the red cap leads you to the garage, and as you go to the garage, you see Chuka and Clonk there, and they both have a very happy look in their eyes as they see you, and so they come up to you and they say, "Hey, I hear you guys are about to leave."
Yep.
Wow.
Hopefully.
Well, we have just thankfully we had just enough time to finish your prosthetic. All we need to do is make the final fittings so that it will be able to go over what's left of your arm. And they pull it out. It looks like a very skinny arm. It seems like the joints have some strange gears in there, and then there's also some tight material. You're not sure if it's wire or like a rubber band type thing or something else, but those act as like the kind of like the muscles or ligaments. So it doesn't look very strong, but Ewan, are you willing to accept the arm and allow them to like put it on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So as you do that, it does seem to be fairly strong in terms of how well it can keep up compared to your other arm. Obviously, it's a little strange because you don't really have much feeling or sensation in it. So like dexterity-based fine motor skills are a little bit difficult. It also only has like 3 fingers on the hand, so it's got 2 fingers and a thumb. Actually, in that sense, it's kind of similar to Vegnog's hands because that's the typical setup for a Warforged. But the arm functions really well, and they also point out a neat feature where it's kind of like if you throw your arm, like you like yank it forward in a certain way, your hand will actually throw forward, kind of like a rocket punch, and it's attached by what's it called, like a lanyard, or it's attached, and you can yank it right back. So effectively, that allows you to use your armed strike and melee weapon attacks like thrown weapons and have them come back to you.
Range?
Yeah, it's limited to 20 feet. But
20 feet?
Yeah.
All right. 20-foot punch. So Mad Maggie gave me that slap bracelet.
Right.
Well, you didn't want it, so I didn't think you took it.
I don't recall that.
Oh.
I do recall you seeming pretty dismissive of the slap bracelet, but I don't think it was said one way or another that she handed it to you or still had it in her hand.
Listen, being dismissive of her is one thing, and her intentions.
So basically what actually happened back then was Ewan said, oh, I'll take your filthy, dirty magic, but I won't show you any respect, old lady.
You just made a weird fucking doll of me that you're going to do unknown experiments with.
So you took the slap bracelet and you're putting it on?
Yeah. I'm going to put it like up on the arm.
Okay.
Like in the upper part of the arm.
So you wrap it around your arm, and as you do that, you suddenly feel much more feeling in the arm. It feels much more natural to you. It has sensation that mimics a lot of your natural arm, but after a moment, the material actually melds into the prosthetic. And you can see where it is, but it's now solidly connected to it. It's no longer 2 separate pieces.
But yeah, so like, have a better idea, the feel of it. And then I'm going to test its sort of grappling capabilities. I'm going to like find some object that might be kind of heavy, something I should normally be able to pick up, and launch that cap. Hand. Yeah, fuck one of these red caps. Well, someone will launch my hand at one and grab it and try and yank it towards me.
So give me
an athletics check.
Yeah, give me an athletics check.
Wow, what the fuck? Okay, action point. an action point to give me the second roll there.
All right.
Uh-oh.
The fuck this thing roll? This bastard.
So the red cap sees what you're doing and it knocks it away with its sickle and is like, "What are you doing? Leave me alone. I'm trying to work here."
As it's just standing outside the door, just like staring off in a direction.
So here's the real question. Here's what I'd like to try and do. It turns around and starts to go back to work. Can I like right the hand and fucking thing this thing over to him and grab him by the ankle?
No. Because when the arm is attached, it doesn't quite have that, like the dexterity, and especially because it's only like the configuration with the 2 fingers and the thumb. It's not really able to walk itself.
Crawl itself?
Or crawl itself, yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe after you get a little bit more experience and practice with it, maybe it will be able to do that. But for now, no.
I'm just gonna try on random tools that are laying around.
Okay. So it's a little difficult, but you can grab things and pull them over, but you don't have a whole lot of force. You find that, you know, after getting to be about 10 pounds, that's about the most that you can actually pull.
Oh shit.
Time for me to start learning to tinker. Hey, Vegnog, you ever tinker on your own, chassis there?
Only when something is broken. Do you need tinkering?
Got some ideas. In the vehicle.
Yeah,
See what I can do.
With regards to the vehicles, Mad Baggy has a couple of options. Let me just find them. So one is a 2-wheeled motorcycle called a Devil's Ride. Obviously, it's only made to handle one person. Another one that they have is there's a demon grinder, which is a bulky armored coach that rumbles loudly as it crushes obstacles and enemies in its path. There's an attachment where you might be able to put weapons. You see other fully functional demon grinders in the garage that have swinging wrecking balls and iron jaws mounted on the vehicle that handle kind of like garbage trucks. The one that you have that you're being offered has space for those things, but it doesn't have the wrecking ball, and the jaws don't seem to be functioning at their normal capacity. The other one is, why does it not say where?
How many does the demon grinder sit?
The demon grinder can hold 8 medium creatures. So, and then there's the tormentor, and the tormentor is more of a dune buggy type of vehicle. And this one does have some weapons on it. It's got these raking scythes on the side of it. And it also has a harpoon gun, but it is only able to fit 4 medium creatures. Although it does look like there's space to like create makeshift like seating on top of the vehicle. So those are the options.
I'm in favor of the one that has space for attachments. I'm sure there is wreckage we can find to put to kind of beef it up a little.
Definitely worth keeping an eye out.
So you guys want the demon grinder then?
Fine with me.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So this is what the demon grinder looks like.
Cool.
When it has those things.
Right. Jaws look like they could be functional. They just need a little bit of work. But yeah, you would need to attach a new wrecking ball. And it's got space for 2 other weapon spots.
Nothing screams demon grinder. Nothing screams silver flame like the demon grinder.
So, Chuka and Clonk.
Why don't we just ask them to attach a new wrecking ball here? I'll bet you many people down here don't know that she didn't say that they were supposed to spruce it up.
Yeah, just look. Who's like preparing these things exactly?
Well, it's Chuka and Clonk. They're the only mechanics in Mad Maggie's crew.
We could. But chances are, the moment that she finds out, they'll get tortured or some shit. We don't need to put that on them.
It's fair enough. I don't know how she would know. Unless she comes down and counts the wrecking balls.
I mean, I guess we can ask them. Hey, call to one of them or whatever. Does the old broad like keep an inventory of what you got?
Oh yes, very closely. She accounts for every piece of scrap that's brought into this place.
Yeah, she seems the type.
Yes, what is hers, and she is very protective of all that she considers to be hers.
Yeah, including pieces of other people. Is much appreciated.
So they take some time to show you how to drive and operate the demon grinder. They also give you some ideas in terms of how you might be able to address the issue with the chomper, the jaws in the front. But they can't do it themselves because it would just take too long. And there are other projects that Mad Maggie is having them work on. And then they also go through the types of weapons that might normally be on these kinds of machines. So they talk about things like the most common weapons in the two spots that there are on the vehicle are harpoon flingers. But in addition to the harpoon flingers, they also have something called screamers, which is a kind of sonic weapon, or they have things that produce dragon's fire or spit acid, and those are the most common types of weapons that are found on these kinds of machines.
Are we going to encounter many other vehicles out there?
It is likely, especially as you leave the area that's controlled by Mad Maggie. There are other warlords that roam this land, as well as others just trying to make it across this very difficult terrain. So without a vehicle, most people don't have much luck unless they have some other magical means of transporting themselves. It's one of the reasons why me and my wife haven't been able to try to leave. Not only do we have our curse of lycanthropy, not only are we worried about our daughter and what might happen if Mad Maggie decides to bring her attention upon her, but also we're just not sure that we would be able to survive out there without some kind of vehicle and provisions.
Let's see.
In fact, one of the reasons that this shop exists is because Mad Maggie has her red caps go scavenging. It's very often that vehicles meet themselves in the middle of the plains and engage in battle. So there are many disabled or destroyed hell machines scattered across the land. Maggie goes and finds them and brings them here to use as scrap and make for her own personal projects.
Been hitting the sauce there. Huh.
Just a bit. It's the only way to make it here. No joy except what you can find in the bottle.
Are these things powered by soul coins?
Yes, they are. And as part of this trade, whatever it was that you arranged with Mad Maggie, she is allowing you 2 soul coins. And the dwarf produces the 2 soul coins and hands them to whoever will take them.
I'll grab them.
Upon contact with the soul coins, you instantly feel the despair or dread or hopelessness of the souls trapped inside.
I grabbed with my synthetic arm.
Yes, even with your synthetic arm.
All right.
Probably because of the band you're wearing on it.
Sure. I'll pocket it. How far do one of these coins get us?
Usually, if everything is working on the war machine, a coin will provide enough energy for 8 hours of travel.
It's really not a lot.
One of the reasons there are so many skirmishes between war machines is in order to collect the soul coins that the other group possesses.
Indeed.
So there you go. We just have to go out and destroy some devils in their other war machines. Maybe we'll get a weapon that we can attach and some more soul coins. Or we could go back. Maybe she'll give more soul coins if you tell a story, Ewan. Now that you're looking so much more alert.
I don't think it's worth it.
You should know that soul coins are not just used for fuel here. It is the primary currency of this land. So if you wish to trade, if you have nothing that you're willing to part with in terms of bartering, soul coins are the primary means of getting supplies.
Not for a liquor store.
Are our provisions loaded into the machine now?
Yes.
Then it seems we should set off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do this.
And I take out the gem from the sword and figure out which direction we're supposed to go.
Okay. So you're able to say what direction. You know, it's hard to know here. You don't know it's north and south or how to orient yourself, but you know which direction the gem is pointing. And so you're able to follow that pretty easy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
start
assume-
your engines.
Yeah, I assume Ewan is driving.
I think you or I have.
Yeah, but I have a terrible intelligence and dexterity. So if you want me to like bang the sides of a garage on the way out, I could drive.
Hey, you drove her in. One we had. But yeah, I mean, I'll drive.
All right. So Chuka and Clonk both wish you well. and wave as you leave the garage. The red caps make sure that the doors open and the gates open so that you have a pretty clear way out. And you are once more in the hellish landscape of Fernia, with the oppressive heat soon seeping into the vehicle, and the sky, that twilight type dusk that is ever present, with the multiple burning balls of fire at the edge of the horizon. And you've set off the dust kicking up in your rear as you head off to your next destination.
I would hope that as we were leaving, that Ewan at least would try to clip one of those red caps and run him over.
I mean, shit happens sometimes, right?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
It's workplace accident hell,
Yep. Oh, now I got to change the signs. 0 signs to last. 0 days to last accident.
Since last red cap murder.
All right. And we will leave it there. So what did everybody think about the session?
Fun.
Yeah. Like that whole story thing you threw in there, that was mad. I wish I was more prepared, but that was cool.
I was really worried because when you guys said, oh, we might just skip it, my heart dropped because that stupid poem that Mad Maggie read, that took me weeks to write.
That was good. I was thinking that. I was like, man, did he prepare that? That took some time. I was like, we were going to hear that anyway?
Yeah. It took him a week, I think. He would have found a way.
Yeah. Mad Maggie just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to tell you anyway. It works so damn hard on it.
Like when we fought that beholder and he just gave us the audio thing.
Right.
Yeah, that always is a risk.
Yeah, I was so scared. It's just like, wait a minute, you guys don't want to hear your future.
No, we've got enough. We've got enough. Thanks.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I was debating the whole time whether to attack her while we were in there.
Yeah. Like I definitely was getting there. Like after the healing, I'm like, you know what? I was about to look to Lux like now.
And then I was going to try to sleight of hand one of the dolls, but I was at disadvantage, and I was like, oh, man, it's probably not going to make it.
So I will say that the extra stories that you guys told that even after the scales were balanced, that's what gave you guys the full rejuvenation. So had you not proceeded after that, you would have still had your exhaustion and everything. So.
Yeah, I forgot we were supposed to, or that there was like a story, because she did say that. So when you mentioned it again, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I should probably come up with a story.
You were ready. You were crazy. I was like, are you reading that from somewhere? It was so good. I thought maybe Mike sent you something pre-prepared. I'm like, oh God. Where's my one?
Well, yeah, so that's one of the benefits that Kurt and Brennan, you didn't have, because when they originally met Mad Maggie, she offered to do this and said that, it would require a story because with power like this, stories beget stories. So Dustin took that to heart and prepared.
No, I was typing it as we were
Oh, really? Because I thought you
you
did look like you were reading something. So I was like, oh, but no, you were typing.
I typed it up as like we were talking through it.
Oh,
That's pretty neat. Yeah, I thought that would be a cool way to like give you guys a chance to add some additional depth or detail to your characters. Definitely wasn't prepared for the story Lux brought up.
I got a half brother and confirmed that my mother's a slut.
Damn.
I wonder if like Project Ezreal is just like does crazy shit, and like now Solomon has to like somewhat defend his crazy antics. And like that's
no, I mean that is the thing. It is definitely going to change how Solomon reacts to Project Ezreal from now on.
oh man,
that was great. So yeah, so with the poem that everybody should now be able to see in the journal, that will also, so especially Solomon's character, but also Lux to an extent as well. There will be more history that you guys will have access to, because now that Melise Moran has been mentioned, you both, as adherents to the Silver Flame, you guys both know certain information about Melise.
Well, we already ran into, this was like the weird time when Solomon actually rolled well on a religion check back when we were in underneath like the bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
There was a shrine to Melise Moran.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, so now the connection is even stronger, that there's some kind of involvement with her.
Right, like they're trying to have her possess Jayla Duran so that they can release Belshalor.
It's funny, what inspired me to have that element to the story was I was watching Big Trouble in Little China, and when Egg Shen mentions something after he gives everybody that potion, only a dream can kill a dream. I was like, that's it. Now I need to create a poem and I need to find a way to put that in there. And this is going to be awesome. Oh, I like the update, Ewan.
Nice.
All using just inking, just like the Microsoft inking effect. That's it. It's like black out the arm, gray, and then like bring down the thickness and just black lines on it.
That's perfect.
You can't see the whole thing, but there's a hand, 3 fingers and everything.
That is awesome.
Well,
all right. Well, thanks for playing, everybody. It was a lot of fun. Glad that Brennan and Kurt, that you guys could make it. It's been a while, so glad that you guys could join us again.
Yeah.
This is my first D&D in like 2 months.
Yeah. So does this mean that we might be playing next week?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'll if not, I will let you know, but I have no reason to think otherwise.
All right. That'll be cool. Well, hopefully all this stuff slows down and you get paid. I mean, that's more important.
I did get paid today because they need me to work tomorrow. So
God.
It's so bizarre. So, just you guys better pay me today if you want me to work tomorrow.
right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.
Talk to you later.
Have a good night.
Bye.